look at, how is it different from, or how is modern farm to home model different from the traditional agri supply chain? So typically, there is a farmer and then there are consumers. Obviously, you need a production center and a consumption center. And in between, you have, uh, you know, one or two players who are into collecting, processing, and distributing the entire stuff. And then there are logistic service providers. So, if we look at the first mile pickup, that also happens in reefer vehicles. Again, at the collection center to the distribution hub, it goes in a larger reefer vehicle truck. At the distribution hub, it is stored in a cold room or a cold storage, and then finally, again, it goes to the consumer in a reefer vehicle in case of perishables or things like that. So, so this is a much more streamlined kind of supply chain wherein number of intermediaries are reduced and it's a slightly streamlined supply chain. So the first step is to onboard the farmer. फार्मर को एजुकेट करना पड़ता है, उसको ट्रस्ट देना पड़ता है, उसको कॉन्फिडेंस देना पड़ता है कि इंस्टेड ऑफ गोइंग द ट्रेडिशनल वे ऑफ सेलिंग इट टू अ village trader or going to a mandi, you have to register on the app and things like that. Once he is convinced, the platforms also do a crop level planning. कौन सी क्रॉप कब उगानी है, किस ग्रेड की उगानी है, हाउ टू सोर्स the fertilizers, how to where to source the seeds from and things like that. So there is an entire crop planning exercise that also goes in. And then the demand is shared in advance. So now we understand the importance of demand planning. And uh, this reduces to a very large extent the uncertainty to farmers ki meri crop ka क्या होगा, बिकेगा नहीं बिकेगा and things like that. So they get that kind of confidence. So it's more of a confidence building exercise, a change management kind of an exercise from a farmer's point of view who has been selling in the traditional model for ages and for generations maybe. And now there is a new model that has come in, which is tech enabled, which is slightly different from for him, it is not slightly different. It's a whole new world altogether. Including technology, including the way his produce will be uh, collected and things like that. So at the collection center, the produce is collected at village level center. So you have instead of a village trader, you have village level centers who collect these crop produces. And then they are graded, sorted, and all kinds of quality checks are performed over there so that, end of the day, the consumer gets the kind of quality that the platform would have promised them. Then in terms of processing, they help in or their value addition comes in terms of cleaning, sorting, and packaging. Also in terms of SKU standardization, for example, 1 kg tomatoes will be packed or half a kg tomatoes का अलग से bundle बना देंगे, packs बना देंगे, and those kind of standardizations would be done. And then the last mile delivery happens, direct delivery to homes. A lot of subscription models typically for milk and daily vegetables, like Country Delight, a lot of people have subscribed in urban areas, wherein it's a daily affair for them. So some of the daily used vegetables also have a subscription model with a predefined frequency and all, and that helps in building it back into the demand planning and things like that. And then there is app-based ordering that is very, very prominent in this model. So compare this modern day farm to home model versus uh, you know, this traditional agri supply chain. So very, very different. Lot of intermediaries in traditional supply chain in the agri business compared to farm to home model. Just the logistic service provider and the platform. And if we look at more deeply into this, some of the innovations that they have done in this farm to home model. The first thing is this intermediation. So those number of intermediaries have been reduced to, always elimination of middlemen and things like that. And farmer gets a better price. We'll see the price built up in case of farm to home model as well. And so not only does farmer get better prices, but lower prices for consumers as well. Right? Digital platforms, real-time pricing, demand visibility, cold chain integrations, which help maintain the freshness of the produce. Wastage is low. Typically, अगर हम उसमें ट्रेडिशनल मॉडल में 20 to 30% की बात करते हैं, so in farm to home model, it is just 50% of that wastage. So the wastage reduces to about 10 to 15%. And these are like data-driven supply chains, demand based on demand planning and things like that. Traceability, consumers increasingly demand origin transparency. So I was reading somewhere, somewhere in US, वहां पे अगर आपको एप्पल खाना है तो एप्पल के ऊपर एक क्यूआर कोड होगा, उसको आप स्कैन करोगे, यू कैन रीच आउट टू, यू नो कहाँ से ये आया, कौन से विलेज से आया, कौन से फार्म से आया, उसकी ट्री की फोटो भी आ जाएगी. So that is the kind of uh, things that are possible in modern farm to home models. You can scan your apple or a mango, and you can go trace it back to where it was uh, produced, right up to the tree level, right? So these are some of the innovations that have come into picture in the farm to home model. However, सिर्फ innovation नहीं है, there are a lot of challenges as well. So operational level challenges, you have to maintain that infrastructure both in terms of physical infrastructure and technology infrastructure. So high cold chain cost, high logistics complexity. So you are now using reefer vehicles and last mile deliveries in terms of route planning. Urban city की अपनी complexity in terms of last mile deliveries and things like that. Then, in terms of structural level challenges, fragmented land holdings by farmers. Farmers, as I said, still remain the same, very, very disaggregated, very, very fragmented. And then, obviously, there is a way in which farmers have been working for ages. So there are adoption-related barriers or adoption-related challenges in terms of how the way of working, the technology adoption, and things like that. And in terms of financials, एक हम concept बोलते हैं value density of the product in supply chains. Whenever we talk about supply chain, we think about value density of the product. Value density क्या है? Rupees per kg. So value density is very, very low for these commodities. And तो जहाँ पे value density कम होगी, वहाँ पे obviously scope of margins is also very, very thin. So in this case, there are very thin margins in perishables, whereas investment in cold chain infrastructure, investment in technology is pretty steep. So there are certain challenges which are there.